everybody. Welcome to the Happy Whole You podcast. And today I have Melissa Vogel with me. Hey, Melissa.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Yes. You guys, we just got done having a mindset and fitness panel in Bakersfield, California. And now we're doing our podcast.
I know. It was so good, too.
It was. We had a lot of great women.
Yeah. Everyone is in store for some magic.
Yes.
Some female magic.
I know. I wanted to ask so many more questions and be here for 2 more hours, but we couldn't do that. But
we have a life.
we have a lot of things to talk about today. So, and our podcast on the Bomb Mom podcast, Melissa has a podcast. Our episode drops today.
It does.
It's a very exciting day for us. Our friendship is really growing today.
I know. We're on the fast track. We're on the fast track. It's good. Yeah, but the universe totally made that happen. I'm
yes.
We go live today with it. So
yes.
That's out and it's so good.
Yes.
So
good. Melissa interviewed me on her podcast, and when you meet someone and right away you're like, that's one of my people. This was Melissa, and I swear to you, I was like, hey, we're going to be doing this panel. Would you be willing to travel to Bakersfield and be on this panel? And no hesitation, yes.
Yeah, we're doing it.
It's like, you are my person.
Whose car are we taking? Let's go.
All right, so today I wanted to just do more of a deep dive with you. If you can share with everyone just a little bit about yourself. And you're a mom, you're an entrepreneur, and you're just such an amazing woman. So if you could just share with everyone a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thank you. I have been in the fitness industry, I feel like my entire life. I really grew up around it. But I love sharing that, and I hate saying it at the same time, because then a lot of people take away my work and they're like, oh, well, that's why you're so fit.
Right,
you were around it and exposed early.
It's easy for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Oh, no, I still have to work and show up.
Yeah.
But I love it. I got exposed teaching classes very young. I was 15, 16.
Yes, same.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
I got fired from Dairy Queen, which was a really great thing. And I was 16 years old, and I got a job at a wellness center at the hospital, and I started to see these women teaching classes. And I was like, that looks amazing. Step aerobics, kickboxing, old school cardio.
Yes.
And yeah, I was about the same age. So, okay, keep going.
Oh my God. I used to work at Chuck E. Cheese. Swear to God, I was the Chuck. Okay.
This is great.
Right? Ice cream, pizza.
I mean,
fitness.
Yeah.
We're covering
we can go
it all.
together.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, I saw this sign at my high school on the student center or whatever, and it was get a free membership in exchange for cleaning the weights.
Oh.
And I'm like, why hasn't anyone taken this opportunity yet?
Yes.
Sign me up. And my friends were like, no one's going to do that. I'm like, this is amazing. So I went, and they're like, yeah, just clean it and you can work out here. And I'm like, sweet.
That's a good gig.
They're like, you should do classes too. It's included. I'm like, okay. So I started doing classes, and they're like, you're really good at this. You should start teaching. So someone kind of took me under her wing and taught me an 8 count and how to do it, the step aerobics.
Yes,
I love that you brought that back.
Step, turn. It's the cheerleader voice in me that would come out when I was
8
instructing.
more, 7.
Yes.
It is. It totally is. And I was just good at it. And then I was like, I love that I'm motivating these people all at once. There's 25 people in there, and I feel really good, and they feel really good. And they're like, well, we'll pay for your certification. I'm like, score.
Yeah.
As long as you stay here for another couple of years. I'm like, all right. I'm all signing contracts that I didn't know what I was signing. They're like, just don't tell anyone how old you are.
Oh, yeah, because you had to be 18.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I had to wait until I was 18 to get my certification. But I was learning from this lady up until I got 18, and then I went to take my certification right away at 18.
Yeah.
So you got in early.
They had me teaching before I had any certs or anything like that. And I'm like, okay. And I loved it, and I had a passion for it. And that led me into personal training and all of that. And I remember I played varsity volleyball all 4 years, and they put me in charge of conditioning. And so I would go to practice, and then literally the whole team would come to the gym and fill the room.
Yeah.
And I would condition them, and they would take my classes. I'm like, that was a lot at a really young age. I didn't realize that, but it just opened the door for everything for me. And then, getting married and having kids, and then going through a divorce, you really learn and discover who you are, becoming a mother and being married, and then ending my divorce and just really figure out who I am. And it was during that time too that when I ended my divorce that I was like, I need to figure out this business, and that's how Bomb Mom was created.
Okay.
And I took it to a whole nother level at that time. And I'm like, if I lost myself and I need to rediscover who I am, who else is on this journey too?
Yeah.
And apparently there's a lot of women.
There is. Yes, a lot of women.
A lot of women. And over the last 6 years, I have just been on my grind and building the business, but then also, you know, building my life in a whole new way and teaching my kids along the way. And that's the whole foundation for what I do, is I help women rediscover that like inner goddess, you know, that they lost. And yeah, that's been my path for the last 6 years. But fitness and, you know, teaching and all that, that's been like 20 plus.
Wow. So, okay, so if we go back before the 6 years, when you had your divorce, you started to like really dive into the Bomb Mom. Like, what was your fitness like? What was it like you have 3 children. So what was that journey like to be having kids, having your fitness? I mean, how did you manage all that? Like, what was going on at that time?
My fitness looked a lot different than what it does now. A lot different. I used to have this mentality that if I'm not sweating, like through my sports bra, through my shirt, that workout didn't count. So I would teach classes. I taught a ton of classes. It was for my own sanity too, to get out of the home and everything. But I was like, that's my workout. Okay, that's workout 1. And then I'd go out and do another 30 minutes on the Stairmaster. And I always had this layer to me, you know, like this extra layer. And I'm like, how do I get this off? After my last baby, I just could not figure it out. And I remember, I'm like, P90X. That's the answer.
Oh, I remember that one.
The golden egg.
Yeah.
That's got to be it.
I love their muscles.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm going to look like that. I'm like, I'm pretty fit. I'm not like morbidly obese, but that must be the answer.
So you were doing a lot of cardio?
Tons
of cardio, teaching classes, and you still had like this extra weight on you that you felt like, I'm exercising, like what's happening? So now you've had children and you're like, I have to like,
how do I get this off?
Figure out a new way, because the old way wasn't working.
It was not working at all. And I remember being in my basement, because I'm from Michigan, so we have basements there.
I'm from Michigan too. You guys, are you hearing this?
We're twin flames.
Wait, where'd you grow up in Michigan?
Saginaw.
I am from Charlotte, right outside of Lansing.
Oh my God.
When did you move to California?
Like 10 years ago? 10, 11 years ago?
Oh, wow. Mine's like 20 years ago. I moved in 05, 06.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. What brought you to California?
Work. I do a lot of modeling and acting too, and you can only do so much in Detroit and Toledo, Ohio is the next closest for me.
I just got back. I was in Michigan for 2 weeks, visiting family there, and so, you know, going to Muskegon, Michigan, Grand Haven, Michigan.
I knew I could hear it.
Yes. My sister says, like, she's like, we were talking, and she's like, yeah, my sister talks different. She was talking about me. I talk different now since I've been out here for so long. And then some people here, they can hear that little Michigan in me every once in a while. So, because I was 22 years old when I moved to California.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
I had 3 kids, 2 cats.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
On an airplane.
Oh, yeah. I just fit what I could fit in my car and my Lumina. And I drove across the country. I slept on a floor until I could afford to buy a mattress. And
oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Yeah, I knew it. I could hear it. I could hear it. That's one of the first things that people ask me is like, where are you from?
Yeah.
Michigan.
Yep, Michigan.
Michigan.
Oh man. Okay, so you are, before 6 years ago, you were discovering that cardio is not going to cut it.
Not the answer.
You had a little bit of extra weight that you weren't feeling good about.
Yeah.
And you saw P90X, got inspired.
Well, let me give you a visual too of what I used to look like. I was on the basement at one point, and I was doing mountain climbers. You know, where your hands are on the floor and you're like in a plank and you're running your knees into your chest.
Yes, which I don't know why people do that, but they do it.
Yeah. Well, Tony told me to do it, so
he
I was
makes
like,
you do it.
He's got muscles,
I know.
so I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And I felt this like tapping feeling. I'm like, what is that? It was my stomach
yeah.
hitting my thighs. I was mortified. I was like, this is not me. I don't have extra, like, and I just lost it. I was crying, and the kids are like, what's that noise? Mom, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. Everything is fine. And I'm like, this is not acceptable anymore. And that's when I was like, you know what? I'm going to crack the code. I'm going to figure out what it's going to take. What does this look like? And that's when I discovered weights was like the secret sauce. Like, I call it the fountain of youth. And I tracked everything. How much I lifted, what days did I lift? And then I started therapy, and I'm like, how many days did I go? What am I learning? Like, what am I really discovering? And I have notebooks upon notebooks of my journey. And then I took all of that, and then that's how I created Busy to Bomb Fit Mom.
Okay.
So every pillar is like literally a notebook in my storage, and that's how I created it. But I started to really had to learn like what worked, what didn't work, and people miss that. Yeah. They take the failure and they're like, well, that didn't work, and they get discouraged. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, this is...
They want to throw the trash, and I'm like, dig it in the trash. I'm like, go get that out. Yeah. You had a really crappy month?
Right.
Let's dive in. And people are like, no, that was bad. I failed. I'm like, no, you didn't. That's data we need to know.
Yeah, that's information.
And I kept all that. This month, lost no weight. That was really hard. And then I learned, oh my God, this month you dropped 2 pounds and your body fat went down 0.5%.
Yeah.
That's really important to know.
So you started to like not only track your workouts, but were you tracking what you were eating, your sleep? So you were tracking everything, kind of like your own science experiment to figure out what works for your body, what doesn't work for your body. And I love how you say that, because a lot of people do discount. They're like, oh, that didn't work. And they do. They like throw it in the trash. Yep. But it's like, that is so much valuable data and so much valuable information that, I'm so glad.
Especially with nutrition.
Yes.
People will come to me and they'll be like, oh yeah, I used to do Atkins, or I used to do this and that didn't work. And I'm like, whoa, back up.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Yes.
Because that means that didn't help you, but we need to know that moving forward. Why? Right. Were you not consuming enough?
Right.
What was your protein at that time?
Or your body was sensitive, right? That's the other thing
Exactly.
is like when I work with people too is we do food sensitivity. So like almonds, for example, we kind of know, oh, almonds are healthy, but not for some people. Some people have a sensitivity, so they eat the almonds and it causes inflammatory response, which, you know that you can get some inflammation. You can have 10 pounds of inflammation, 5 pounds of inflammation, and that puffiness.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you're going through all that, and then what's it like to be a mom during this time?
Insane.
Yeah, right? Like, nobody tells you how hard it is to be a parent.
No.
They like... I remember, so I had my son, I had postpartum really bad, and I just remember like looking at other moms and their kids were like dressed really nice. They didn't have snot running down their nose, and my kids were the snot running down the nose kids. They had a stain on their shirt. I'm like just trying to like survive, and I'd be like, how do they look so nice? How do their kids look so put together? And I was like, nobody told me it was going to be this hard to be a parent. And then, throw a second kid in there, and then you went ahead and did a third. So, yeah, it's a lot.
It is a lot, and no one tells you either, that it's okay to focus on you. It's okay to leave the dishes. It's okay that the laundry doesn't get done.
Can you tell my husband that? It's okay to leave a dish in the sink.
Totally okay.
It's okay.
It really is. And me, I'm Mexican, and growing up in a Hispanic culture, like the woman does everything. That is your job. If you are not providing for your husband and doing all of the things, like you are failing, you are slacking. And when I really started working more and focusing less on those types of things, and oh my God, Melissa got a cleaning lady to come, insert huge gasp, they were like, what is going on, Melissa? And I'm like, I'm teaching my kids how to show up for you as well.
And to leverage, right?
And to leverage, to work smarter, and not necessarily harder. And that's one message that I'm always pushing out there is that you have to make time for you. That doesn't make you selfish. It doesn't make you a bad mom.
Yeah.
I'm actually creating time and space. I had to learn this to create that time and space to recharge my battery. I'm like, oh my God, I'm a better mom.
Yes.
Bedtime goes 10 times smoother.
Yes.
when I had a gym session today.
Because you're not stressed. You're not like, because you just feel different when you exercise.
They got stressed, tired, worn out mommy all the time. And I'm like, man, if I really love my kids, then they deserve the best version of me.
Yeah.
You know, my partner deserves the best version of me. And no one was getting that. I'm like, how is anyone winning in this situation?
Yeah.
No one is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It is a roller coaster. And taking time for yourself is vital. And when you do that, it's like so much more rewarding because you get to show up in a new way where it's not in a stressful way. And the kids feel that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, all right. So 6 years ago, you had a vision, you had a dream. And did you always know that you wanted to like have your own business? And no. So you wanted to be an actress and model. Like, what was your like at one point I wanted to be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, by the way.
My daughter is so into that show right now, and she's like, Mom,
I'm just showed me that show. I was like, I actually wanted to do this when I was younger. I mean, I couldn't do a back handspring. I couldn't do any of that. I played basketball and volleyball.
She hasn't danced since she was 8.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine, honey.
Yeah. So, anyways, how, like, what were your dreams? Like, what were you wanting?
I thought at the time that I was going to be like on Days of Our Lives. I'm going to be the next, Marlena or something. I don't know. And that was my goal. And then I was just going to keep doing personal training because that brought in extra money.
Yeah.
And that was fine. Owning a business? What? I don't even know how to do my own taxes. Like that's not going to happen at all. But then I realized if you really want to help other people, you need to up your game. Mm-hmm. You can't keep working for someone else because they're not going to let you do what you want to do.
Yes.
Even when I opened the door a little bit to let people in, they gave me the worst advice ever. And I'm like, I don't agree with you. They're like, when you get advanced moms, like separate them from the beginners, and like you should have like this advanced program. I'm like, dude, I completely disagree with that because the mom that's hit their goal and they're doing really good in the program, they're going to help the new moms coming in.
They want to.
And then that's going to help hold them accountable. Because they're like, oh, like people are watching me now. Like, I've been here for a while. I'm an OG, and things like that. So I learned like, no, if you really want to create change, you got to be the boss. And what you don't know, figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting how a lot of people want to share information, and I always know it's in the best interest of how to run your business or what you should be doing next. But I think deep down, like we know, and then when we need support, we go and find those people to support us. But I want to back up. What is it like to be in that industry of acting and Hollywood? And what was the best thing about it? And then what was like the worst thing about it?
The best is that you get to meet so many cool people.
Okay.
And like you're exposed to just so many sets and famous people and advice and parties and the glam. Like it's so cool.
Like you feel fancy.
Oh my God, you feel so fancy.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm just sitting next to Selma Hayek right now. Like, no big deal. Like, hi girl.
Yeah.
Like no big deal. That part's really cool. And you get to, I've shot on like the beaches of Malibu and it's just really cool. The downside is like they tear you apart. I've been told that my nose is too big. I've been told that I'm too fat. I've been told that I'm too thin. I've been told my hands are too big. My hair is too dark. I was blonde. I used to be really, really blonde. And then that was amazing. And then it wasn't amazing anymore. And I'm grateful for it. And I'm still in it. But I'm just limit now more what I do. But it really taught me how to toughen up. And learn that like you can't listen to what everyone says. You have to take everything as like a grain of salt. Just one tiny little grain at a time.
Yeah.
And not let them get into your head. And that's life, in general, is we let so many people have an opinion on us and then we take it in. And I tell my kids all the time, like other people's opinion of you is none of your business. Mm-hmm. Like, you've got to let that go. And so I learned when a casting director says something or you didn't get the job or let that go.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Yeah. I've had to learn to, like, take criticism and I just flip it in my mind of, like, oh, they're taking the energy to project something to me, which means that I'm doing something right, actually. So I always view if they're talking about you, good, bad, indifferent, I'm actually doing something right, because I feel like when people take that time to have conversation about you, you're doing something that is either inspiring them, or maybe they don't view it as inspiring, but it's making them uncomfortable. So either way, you're moving forward and doing something. And yeah, I love that. Other people's opinions don't. They don't.
None
really
of your
matter.
business.
And other people's opinions also have everything to do with what they're going through in their life or what they've been through. So they're viewing you through the lens of all their past whatevers, And so, yeah, you just got to take it with a grain of salt, like you said.
I've learned a lot, because that's such an important part of a female's fitness journey. And people don't talk about that.
Yeah.
They don't talk about how, someone's doing like really good, and she's lost 10 pounds and she's look amazing. And 10 pounds on a female is a lot.
Yeah, it is.
Like, you start to see a whole new face.
Yeah.
With 10 pounds gone. And then you go to a party and like your crotchety old aunt is like, you're getting skinny.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't be losing any more weight. And then you're like, oh, thanks, Aunt Betty.
Yeah.
And then it gets like implanted right back here.
Like, you're too thin, or you're too big, or you're too muscular, or you're not muscular enough. It's like,
and then you second guess yourself.
yeah.
And then what slowly happens is this self-sabotaging behavior. And you missed a gym workout.
Yeah.
And, oh, it's okay if we go through drive-through. Oh, it's okay if I have this extra sugar.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh man, life's really busy. That's why I didn't go to the gym. And it's like, no. 3 weeks ago when you were at that party and she said something to you, it changed something in your brain.
Yeah.
And you didn't have tough enough skin yet to be like, thank you, I'm good, boo. I got 10 more to go.
Yeah.
You weren't tough enough yet. And that has to be part of your journey, is learning to let go of what other people think. And you have to be okay with being the mom in a bikini at a pool party play date, and all the other moms, it's 120, but everyone's got a cover up on.
Yeah.
I'm like, screw this, I'm taking it off. Women aren't comfortable with that. They haven't done the work up here yet to own what they're changing.
Yeah.
And so then they go back. They go back to what's familiar and that old body.
Yeah.
So then I get to be like everyone else in a cover up in 120-degree weather. What? I want to be the mom in a bikini and hot and smoking. But that has taken so much mindset work to do.
It really, it does. I have more cellulite than I've ever had in my life, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, you got to own it.
Like, I'm like the old me, I'd be like, oh my gosh. But like now I'm just like, I'm confident in who I am, and I appreciate my body for where it's at. And,
Absolutely.
But it does take a lot of work to get there. So, Okay, so now with the Bomb Mom podcast and your company and all of that, like, what do you think has been the most challenging thing on that journey of helping women and men, and the most rewarding?
The hardest part is when people leave and they're not ready. When they quit before payday. Oh, it kills me.
Do you see that, like because there's this instant gratification kind of world that we live in, not kind of, it is. So do you find that most people are quitting before they even have tapped into what is possible?
They will, and I've had to literally tweak and change my program to fit that. I used to let people come in, they'd like go through an onboarding process in like a week, and then like, wow, you're in. It's a whole month now.
Oh, okay.
So I don't even let them in yet until we like build their car before they come into the race, is how I say it.
Oh my gosh, I love that, because like a lot of gyms, you go and you sign up and you just sign up, and then nobody calls you if you don't show up.
Exactly.
So you're like, no, we're going to take a month,
Yeah.
and we're going to get to know you, and there's going to be accountability.
Yep.
Oh,
We're
love
working
that.
on mindset and vision and training and working out and nutrition. And then I get to play with their head a little bit and get them to see the possibility. I get to develop this new person inside that can take over the wheel a little bit before they get in with the rest of the crowd and do everything else. And that has really helped cut back on people quitting, because otherwise it's just the old you still in the driver's seat of your bus.
Yeah.
And people, and even now, even changing things, we still have people that leave too soon. And they're like, oh, I'm going to still do this. I know exactly what I need to do. And I'm like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
You have no clue. Because I can hardly do it on my own. I'm my biggest client,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, I know you're still, struggling, but it's so hard to believe. And that's what I do. I believe in other people before they see it.
I have that challenge too.
I'm like, we can do this. And I
Yeah.
take things to heart.
Yeah.
And my coaches in my program, they have to remind me all the time, you did what you could. You have to let them go. You can't carry this. I'm like, but I can change them. They're like, no, you can't. I'm like,
Yes.
oh, they have to want it. And I'm like, okay. And then unfortunately, I will run into people, at the store or on social media, and they're worse off than when they came in because they left too soon and they didn't learn. That's hard. It's hard to let people go and not just do it for them.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'll just show up at your door. Let's work out together, right? You live in Minnesota. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
getting
I'll
a
help
ticket.
you. I'll still help you.
But the most rewarding is when you change someone's life so deep and you change who they are and you help them have that identity shift that their partner contacts you secretly.
Yes.
And they're like, thank you.
The guys come through.
And oh
Yeah.
my God, it like gives me chills. It gives me a lump in my throat. And when a husband contacts me and he's like, you have no idea what you did. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Could make me cry. And he's like, our sex life, our marriage, how she is with our kids, her body. Like,
Yeah.
you brought back that woman I dated.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes.
That's the best part. And everyone can have that.
Yeah. That's so amazing. Yeah. It's like we take our body for granted.
We do.
We really do. And it's people always talk about, oh, your car, you wouldn't run your car with no oil in it. Right. And it's so interesting that as humans, we don't prioritize our physical, mental, nutritional health. It's like an afterthought.
Right.
And it's just really interesting because like this is the only body that we get. So why would we not nourish it and take care of it? And it's like, it's like taking a partner for granted or somebody that you see every day for granted, and it's trying to be present and be mindful of not doing that. That's one of the things I've been like trying to work on is like, am I taking this for granted? Because we all do it. Like I take my husband for granted all the time.
Absolutely.
Like, it's like I need to take that moment to like, thank you. I love you. I appreciate you, so.
It's a choice every day.
Yeah.
Relationships and fitness are so closely related, it's not even funny.
Yes.
Like, you have to wake up and choose that partner and to do the work every single day. You have to wake up and choose to move and be active with your body every single day.
Yeah.
It's like parallel universes all the time. It's very, very interesting, but we're not taught that.
Yeah.
People don't see that. And then ancestral, like back in the day, you had to be strong and fit, to run away from the tiger. And like, it's in us. But now we have so many things just handed to us that it's no wonder people it's not a priority.
Yeah, we're really reactional.
Yes.
We're not like preventative and we're not as intentional as we should be.
Yep.
So things just happen and then we react. So, okay. So what else in terms of like for you, like, okay, so your belly is obviously not where it used to be.
Not where it used to be.
I mean, you look great, very fit, but do you still like sometimes struggle with like your self-image? Like, do you
Absolutely.
You do?
Absolutely. We were at the gym the other day, and I'm going to post a video doing abs on a Bosu, and I was showing the low level and the high level how to do it and stuff. And then he showed me the video, and I was like, do I really look like that? And then he, of course, compliments me, and he's like, yes. And I said, body dysmorphia, for sure. We don't see ourselves how other people see us. And I don't know if we're ever fully cured of that.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I would be lying if I said, oh my God, no, we can totally fix that. And you're going to look in the mirror and just think you're amazing every single day.
Yeah.
It is still a struggle. And I still, I have the awareness now, though. So when I see it happening, I know how to shut it down and be like, cancel.
Right.
That does not serve you. Knock it off. Whereas before, it would just snowball.
Yeah.
But comparison, too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think it's just in us. As women, we just compare ourselves. I'll see another chick at the gym lifting, and she's squatting way more than me, or has, doing more curls or whatever. And I'll be like, oh my God, how long have I been at this? And I'm not doing that much weight. And then I have to stop myself and be like, okay, she's probably 20 and she probably hasn't had any kids. And she's 5'4" and I'm 5'9". That makes a huge difference in everything and how you look and stuff. And I talk myself back and be like, but you're here and you've done the work, and this body has provided you so much, and kids and, the joy, and it's everything. And I'm like, okay, you're right. It's like I have an angel and a devil on my shoulder.
Oh, we all do.
And the angel's like, no, Melissa, you're amazing. And he's like, but. I'm like, no, angel's right. And I have to shut it down all the time.
Yeah.
I probably look like a psycho standing there having a conversation with myself sometimes, but that self-talk again.
Yeah.
That's what brings me back. But definitely I still struggle.
Yeah.
And I still struggle with eating. What works for me at this stage? Did I eat enough today? Did I eat too much? Like it's just a learning. It's just part of my life now, though.
Yeah. The woman's body is, anyone's body is very fascinating to me and beautiful in its own way. I remember when I was younger, I would go to, go into the locker room, and these older women would walk around butt naked. And I would be like,
so true.
Whoa, when you're younger, when you're 15, 16 years old, even when you're even younger than that, you're like, huh, And then as I've gotten older, I've gone, those spas that you go to and everyone's butt naked, and then they scrub your skin and I love going to those places. The Asian spas.
Same.
Butt naked, everyone walking around, and there is so many amazing different bodies and different body types. But the problem is we're only seeing one body type.
Yep.
Every single day. It's even if you're going to the gym, you're looking and most people are looking for that body type, oh gosh, that's what I should look like. Oh gosh, that's what I should look like. Because that's what's been programmed in us. And if we actually really open our eyes and look around, every woman's body is amazing and beautiful. Some of us have bigger thighs. Some of us have bigger hips. Some of us have bigger arms or chests or whatever. Some of us are tall. Some of us are short. And it's it's beautiful. And we all don't have to look like each other. But I think the most important thing is to choose to move your body, to use that tool that we've been given in a way that you feel confident. And so, but that goes back to, when I was younger, I would exercise to look a certain way. It wasn't like exercising to say, oh my gosh, these are the legs that helped me take my first step.
Right.
These are the legs that walked me down the aisle. These are the legs that helped me pick up my child, right? It's like getting into gratitude and appreciation for that body and what it does for us. But I think that, it's all that stuff that we get put into our minds of what we're supposed to look like and all of that.
And people don't talk about this. I'm so glad that we're saying this right now, and it's going to be on video and audio, and people are hearing this message. And hopefully they pass it on to other people, but people don't talk about it. So I hope people hear this today and then they go, I heard on his podcast this one time, and I should have an appreciation, but we just hate and tear down. And I have a client that has the most beautiful, curviest body ever. And I have been telling her, I'm like, you have junk in the trunk where women pay money to purposely put it in there. And she's like, no one's ever told me that before. I'm like, girl, you're smoking hot. Are you kidding me? And she said, well, my mom and my grandma have always told me that I'm the bigger one and that I'm fat and that I carry too much weight on me. And she's just negative programming. And the moment I said that to her, she has been doing nothing but succeeding and more progress. And I'm like, it's because you're embracing.
Yeah.
Now the goal isn't to get your butt and your hips smaller. The goal is to be faster and stronger.
Yes.
And she's like, how much can I squat? I'm like, yes, that's what we want.
I love that.
But I love, I appreciate these conversations, and I love them so much because people need to hear it.
Yeah.
And our younger kids need to hear this.
Oh,
And
yes.
It's missed. They're not teaching it in school.
Yeah.
And with social media And you're right. The one body we see is the photoshopped body. You know, the one that's on TV and that some casting director thought was this is the image that we want. You know,
and you know, like when I used to be more into fitness and I would take photos or make videos and stuff like that, you shred. You actually dehydrate yourself on purpose. And you don't eat how you normally should for like a day or two beforehand, so you will look more shredded.
Absolutely.
But it's like not real life. It's just to like enhance what you have going on. And so, you know, that is,
I won't do it anymore. I have contracts with anyone that I shoot with, or like leggings or bathing suits. It is in my contract that you will not alter my body. You can like give me a spray tan or something, you know. Which
we love a spray tan.
Yeah, we love a spray tan for sure. But like you cannot alter my waist. If I have a roll, like then you're gonna see the roll like that's out there. And I used to like I would only eat blueberries on the day of a shoot, and I would shoot all day long. And I have some pictures where I'm like just shredded. And I'm like telling my clients, I'm like, I love these and I hate them at the same time because I didn't drink all day. I didn't eat all day. All I had was blueberries because it didn't distend my stomach, but it gave me some sugar to keep going. And now it's like, nope, we're fueling. We're going to eat. Not as much, and if I look that way in a photo, it's because I look that way in real life. Not because I did this like this insane prep beforehand.
Totally.
You know? I have a funny story. I was just talking with my daughter, like I think it was yesterday or something, and I am naked all the time around my kids. Like it never got weird for us, so I just always
you have
did
3
it.
girls, right?
And we're all girls.
I know.
So
I have a boy and he's 14, so I had to like put clothes on, and I was the one that liked to walk around in my underwear, and my husband's like, okay, like you're gonna have to change this a little bit. He's 14. Like, dang it. But
and we were in the bathroom, and I'm getting ready because we get hot doing our hair and makeup. And she's like, Mom, you know, I was at my friend's house, and she has never seen her mom naked before. And they're like 11 and 12. And I'm like, oh. And she's like, I told her, we start talking about it, and she's like, you see your mom naked? Oh, the little girl walked in on her mom. She walked in on her mom changing in her bra and under, and her mom's like, oh my God, get out. And Megan's like, oh my God. And the little girl is like, yeah, I saw my mom and I walked in on her. And Alondra's like, I see my mom naked all the time. You don't? And they had this whole conversation about it.
Interesting.
And I just sat there and was quiet, and I let her tell me. And she's like, why do you think she doesn't ever let her see her naked? And I said, well, unfortunately, a lot of people cover up, and they don't want to, you know, even moms and daughters, they don't want them to see, you know, the other body. And she's like, that's so weird. And it just brought up a really good conversation of embracing it. And this is how we look, and everyone's body's different.
I would have never thought that. I remember I would my mom would be in the bathtub, and I would walk in there as a little girl to just talk to my mom, and she would be naked in the bathtub, and her boobs would be floating, you know, they'd be like pancakes. She had 5 kids, you know, after you breastfeed and all that, that's what happens. And, I don't know, I guess I'm right now I'm thinking to myself, I guess there are moms that wouldn't want to see
a lot. And I just,
you
know, if you have little ones and it just can always be normal, keep that going, but maybe walk around your bra and underwear, let your kids see your body, let them see a real female body where they lived. You know, where you came from. That's so important. But it's crazy. I never saw my mom in a bathing suit. Not once did I see my mom in a bathing suit. She would go to the beach with us and sit in shirt and shorts, and my mom was hot. People thought my mom was my sister. Total, you know, just mindset and body dysmorphia around there. And so I think I just went to the other end. I'm like, nudity for everyone. We're just going to flip that script, and I'm going to wear the smallest bathing suit I could possibly find. But it's just interesting, and you got to be careful because I could have ended up that same way. I could have kept that covering and protecting and not letting anyone see, and then my daughters would have been that, and that just that generational, almost like a trauma would have continued on. So you feel that it's important to walk around in your underwear. 100%. In your home?
I agree.
Booty's out, titties out, we're doing it.
They ruined that for you.
Fun and games are done.
Dang it. Oh man. No, that's really, that is really interesting. So I'm glad you
And
brought
your
that
partner
up.
will think it's hot.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing though, because sometimes I purposely have to put clothes on because if I walk around in my bra and underwear, I'm like, my
never
husband
leaving.
is behind me and I'm slapping, get away. This
I
isn't
love
for
it.
you, So
I have to go to
it's a
work.
good problem. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, okay, I this is just, yes. Anyways, good problem to have.
Good problem.
You still got that
Yes.
spark in your relationship.
That's right.
Okay. So what would be like just some advice that you would give to women? Because women, I mean, they may look at you and say, oh, easy for you to say. I mean, look at you. You're hot. You got a great body. Like, they're sitting there, they're like, I'm 40, 50 pounds overweight. Like, they can't, it's almost like they can't even relate or visualize themselves.
I get that a lot.
Where would you tell that person to start, or what would you suggest to them?
Well, I was talking with your manager earlier, and who's adorable and pregnant, and I was like, with my last kid, 70 pounds. And I mean, she was like 8 pounds, 2 ounces,
You're like, could you be bigger? Because,
Right?
I mean.
Come on now. And I have to constantly remind people, and I share that story often on my podcast, that like who I am now, I haven't always been her. I had to work to become her. And I try to put out as many like before and afters as I can of who I was. And a lot of people are like, no way, that's you. I'm like, that was me.
That was me.
That was me. So I like to remind people too that you can transform. You can change, but you have to decide first. Like there has to be a moment where you decide, I am over being this person I'm not happy being anymore. And along that, you have to work on shifting your identity. You have to have that identity shift if you want changes for life. Otherwise, you just always relate and always identify as being just that overweight mom. My mom was overweight, I'm overweight, 30 pounds is where I'm at. This is just who I am. I hear that all the time. Like a lot of my friends are like, oh, we can never look like you. Why?
Yeah.
Who told you that?
Yeah.
When did you start believing that?
Right.
That's so important to ask yourself. But if you can start to slowly shift your identity, that's like my biggest piece of advice. Slowly shift that identity to, I'm a mom who goes to the gym 5 days a week. Or I'm a mom that works out on vacation. Or I'm the mom that wears a crop top and booty shorts. And you slowly start practicing that, you will get results because your brain will believe it.
Yeah.
And then your brain is the general. Your body is the soldier. This is going to do whatever this tells it. Anything. So if you're going, hey, we're a hot mom, we're going to get in shape, we're going to change, we wear cutoff jeans and booty shorts, your body's going to go, okay, boss said that we're hot. Let's go. And it'll change, but no one teaches that.
Yeah. And making it like a non-negotiable too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think that's important too, is like when you decide, like really decide to be all in, I think that's important too. It's your non-negotiable, that time, whether it's 15 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, 45 minutes a day, an hour a day for your fitness, make it non-negotiable. And I think that can be really helpful for people.
And done is better than none.
Yes.
I wanted to dive into that earlier so bad. And it's like going for that 20-minute walk, it does matter.
Yeah.
But we think, oh, I only have 20 minutes at the gym. Like, is this even going to count? Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe physically you're not burning massive calories, but you just told your brain, this is what I do. This is who I am. And it starts there.
Yeah. I love that. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for joining us today. Let everyone know where they can find you, follow you, and connect with you.
Yes, the podcast is the Bomb Mom Podcast. I say it with my Michigan accent. And you can find me anywhere on social media. It's Melissa Vogel. And I run VIP groups. I'm starting a boot camp, like live workouts with me boot camp coming up next month. But yeah, anywhere with It's Melissa Vogel, you're going to find me.
Awesome. Thank you, Melissa. And thank you, everyone, for joining us on the Happy Whole You podcast.